the South Africans, well equipped with their UNITA allies, were going ready to take on the MPLA and Cuban forces, both of which had around 30,000 men, with the South Africans and UNITA militants having around the same. UNITA also had quite a lot of irregulars, but they didn't play much of a role in the South African fight. So eventually, the South Africans got into their battle positions and had their air force put into positions for raiding. Now, the Battle of Cuito Cuanavale was essentially South Africans going up against superior numbered forces and cornering them, taking a book out of Hannibal's page and cornering the MPLA Angolans, eventually dealing heavy damage to the Angolans. And the Cubans, they decided to get involved in the battle too, as mentioned in the previous episode. The South Africans then began to advance with aircraft bombing the enemy. Now, initially, there were around 300 South Africans, and the South Africans were making gains all on their own, and eventually they were reinforced so that there would be 3,000 South Africans. Now, these 3,000 South Africans were compared with 3,000 Cubans from the get-go. Now, the fact that South Africa could hold these Cubans off and make advances was incredible for the SADF, and another achievement. Now, UNITA in this time was struggling, but they eventually made gains with South African aid. Now, eventually, the Cuban and MPLA advance was halted, and the South Africans had been victorious mostly. But to this day, both sides still claim some victory over the other. Though, in my humble opinion, you can argue with this all you like, but I think the South Africans had won, considering that their air and bombing raids had been able to attack and destroy superiorly numbered Angolan and Cubans, and their infantry had used such tactics to invade and destroy the enemy. I would say that South Africans had won that battle. So, I'll see you next time.